All right, people, welcome to another episode, another day of Samuel Kokumo Live Experience. In case you're watching what kind of super swagged out cap I'm wearing, it's from my friend's brand. I'll plug that in later. How you doing? I was church today if you went to church, if you're a Christian. If not, I was laundry today. Whatever you did today, we had fun. Yeah, so like you may have seen on the flyer, either through my WhatsApp or wherever you've been seeing me post about these things. And as you can see on your screen right now, today we're talking about the four forces that unlock your growth. And this is part two, right? We did part one, I think that was in October before we went into that really long series about freelancing. But before I continue yapping and talking, let me be sure that people can hear me and see me. You can see my pretty face and hear my awesome voice. Just checking YouTube real quick because I can just be in this my virtual studio just talking to myself. Okay. Whoa. Looks like the internet is terrible. Let me see if I can switch if it will be better. Just making sure everything is set before we go further. All right. Let me quickly switch to a different internet provider. Pardon me real quick, guys. There might be a break in transmission. I think I'm back. I'll also check again if it is good. Or you know what? Actually, you guys can guide me in the comments. Don't let me just keep looking. You can see and hear me. Oh, my bad. All right. Thank you. It was even worse. All right. Since I'm already seeing that someone says they can see and hear me, thanks for joining. For you, the OGs, the few OGs we have here on this, on these sessions, you know what I always ask you every Sunday. So you should start reporting yourself in the comments if you didn't do it and if you haven't done the one for this Sunday, right? By now, if you've been consistent about it, if you've been consistent about what I always tell you to do every Sunday, by now you should start to see some sort of results over the past month or two. If you start to, it should not be something I have to beg you to do or tell you to do anymore. You'll be excited to do it because you just see like it's like an act, right? Every Sunday, it doesn't take 10 minutes. Sometimes let's say 15 minutes if you're super slow, or you're doing it while you're watching Netflix. Sit down, write three things, just three, not too many. Don't write 10 things. You're not going to get it done. Write three things you want to get done this week, right? Write three things you want to get done this week. You can write it on your phone. Matter of fact, you can even decide that you're just going to open. You know how all of us usually go to WhatsApp, you just message yourself, just put it there. Or put it somewhere you won't forget or somewhere you can't lose, right? Just write down three things you want to get done this week and then let that be your focus for the rest of the week. It gives you joy to plan something and then get it done. It is an act towards, uh, you know, setting yourself up for winning during the week, right? I hope you're doing it. I've been doing it for years, and the results for me has been amazing. Because life can be weird sometimes. An annoying customer can throw you off and whatever. So that is why I do that. Now that I've done my usual bugging of you guys, let's get back to the topic of the day, and that is the four forces that unlocks your growth. I'm just going to do a quick recap here, you know, just to remind you of what we discussed. Okay, I'm getting some internal feedback. Yeah, internet is terrible. You can't see me well. You're going to have to pardon me, guys. I did note that before coming live, and I tried to get a backup. but for some reason, you know, the third world just wants to third world. I don't know if I should try one more time or if I should just power through. Let me see how bad it is. Give me a second to check. How bad, terrible is this thing? Well, it's bad, but it's not deathly bad. It looks like it's really bad. Why is the video quality so low? Man, I wish I could answer that, Toby. It's because of the internet. You guys should give me like 2 minutes. Let me try and switch one more time. If it's not different, we'll just have to power through. And then I know I said this before, but my team and I will actually do it. We just want to like compile everything into one, and then we can do a repost, and you can see my awesome face when we actually upload the video. We have something recording it on the back end, and it's super clear here. But just give me a minute to try and switch to a different internet service provider, and let's see if that is better. How about that? 1 minute, guys. Give me some time. Not sure if this is any better. According to what I'm testing, it looks like it's better. I hope it is better. Looking at the video. I don't want to waste any more time with this. So let's just get started. Right? This is just terrible. It just went off again. Wow, I'm back and I'm still all right. I'm just going to have to fire through with what I have right now. Sorry about that, guys. It's beyond my control. I have two separate internet service providers. Both of them are deciding to act funny right now. But we're just going to press forward. And like I said, you guys can catch the replays when we repost it. So the four forces that unlock your growth, right? I'm going to do a quick recap of what we did last time. This is a part two after all. In part one, I didn't even touch on the four forces that unlock your growth yet, but we're going to start that today. In part one, I just discussed with you, uh, you know, what makes growth a possibility. I also discussed with you, things that makes it difficult for people to think, for people to actually take action or create concepts. This one is frozen, man. They're really, it's really after me. Okay, maybe it's. I think there's just a little lag. If you can hear me, Jerry, it's just a little lag. Anyway, so I talked about how the things that make growth or people creating concepts of growth for themselves, or even imagining that growth is possible for themselves, or makes it frustrating for them to even think that they can grow, is because of a couple of things. I said number one, um, the misconception that growth you know, is automatic, and that comes from the fact that, while you're growing up, somatic growth, bodily growth, you were a baby, uh, you know, after a while you started getting taller, you started getting bigger, you started walking, you started talking, you grew teeth, you grew hair, you grew this, you grew that. None of that had to do with anything within your control. You didn't have to decide on any of those things. Of course you helped, you took action and all of that, but those things were biologically driven. You just had to be a human being, right? And some people just had to feed you for those things to happen. Your hair was growing, your nails were growing, all of that was happening, right? Somatic growth. That gives you a certain kind of misconception that growth is automatic. So, and the second thing that has programmed us to make it difficult for us to, um, plan out our personal growth and actually take action on it is institutionalized growth. You got, you were maybe 2 or 3 years old. They put you in school. When you get to school, you have your kindergarten. After kindergarten, you do nursery. After nursery, you do primary school. After primary school, you did common entrance. You enter the secondary school. You did junior secondary school, GS1, GS2, GS3. You did an exam. Then you got to SS1, SS2, SS3. Then you did a couple of exams, and then you go into 100 level, 200 level, 300 level, 400 level. You did all that stuff, right? And everything had a plan. Everything had exams, everything had all of that. And there was always a result at the end of the day. And you were always judged by the results that you get based off a plan that other people have set for you. Until you finally leave that system of education, you finally leave that institution, and now all the growth that you need to plan is almost 100% in your hands. All the growth you need to plan is almost 100% in your hand. And now it is difficult for you because you were not trained to plan your own growth. You were trained to expect growth to be automatic. You were trained to expect that there would always be a plan for you, but none of that happens. And that is why you do not know how to, you don't know what is even possible for you. You don't know how to set goals towards that, what is possible for you. I don't know how to take action towards what is possible for you, right? And that is why, forget what anybody will say about. I understand people tend to overdo it, right? Forget what anybody will say, what anybody would say about, you know, motivational speaker this, motivational speaker that. Whatever you say, man, that's your cup of tea. Goal setting has nothing to do with motivation. Motivation is only, okay, don't let me say no, has nothing to do with motivation. Motivation is only 10% in my estimates, not like it was calculated or anything. It's probably 10% of what goal setting is about. The real point of goal setting is self mastery. You can't get self mastery if you're not planning things for yourself, if you're not setting goals for yourself, if you're not trying and failing and trying again, right? I just thought I should go off on that tangent. So I'm still happy at what we discussed last time. Then I talked about what makes growth possible for you. The number one is intent. What did I say about intent? I used the agriculture analogy or the metaphor that your intent is like a seed that you plant. When you have it in your mind that, hey, I would like to be, hey, I would like to do, hey, I would like to try, that is an intention, right? And I also talked about the problem with intentions. The problem with intentions or seeds is there's almost the possibility of having you way too many of them, right? The thing that impedes you there is the possibility of having way too many seeds and not knowing which one to plant. Every day you open your phone, every day you check on the internet, new seeds, new intents, new desires are being planted into your mind. How do you know which one is for you? That is part of what we're going to discuss today. Then I talked about something else. I talked about, still talking on the factors that make growth possible. I talked about your environment, and I said environment is split into two: internal environment and external environment. The internal environment is mostly your mind. It is mostly your mind. What are you feeding your mind? What are you, what are you focused on? What is the substance of your imagination? Your external environment is The people around you, right? What are they saying? Are they the kind that will keep telling you, you know, what's it called? It's not possible. Don't do it. Don't try it. Don't whatever. Who are you listening to? Who are your friends? Who are the people that are, should I say, that you're talking to about this intent that you have? The next thing I talked about is routine. I said that you can't, I'm still using the agricultural analogy here. So back to it, I think I skipped that while doing this recap. There's the seed, which is your intent, the environment, which is like the soil and everything, and then routine. If you know any farmer, if you've ever seen studied agriculture in any way, they say there are daily routines and there are some routines you do every other time. I studied agriculture and I don't even remember the exact terms. But essentially, there are things you have to do every single time, every other time, to make sure that growth is possible for that thing that you've planted. You weed around it, you do some thinning. Okay, you planted a couple of seeds, now this one is stronger than the other, you remove it. All of that is important. You need to have certain routines to make growth possible. You can't just have an intention, right? You can't just sit down and have an intention, say you are in your head just planning things, your internal environment is good, you're focusing on the positive, you're focusing on this, you're focusing on that, and then you don't have a routine that looks like the results that you want to have. Nothing is going to happen. And then finally, I talked about what fuels the routine obsession. I said, I don't think it is possible for you to do anything that is worthwhile in this life if you don't have an iota of obsession. Why? It's obsession that keeps you going. What do I mean? It has to be, I think the analogy I used here was it is going to be similar. Again, let me just give the disclaimer I gave. I do not by any means, I'm not trying to downplay the process of childbirth or anything. I'm just using it as an example. It has to feel at a point that thing that you want, that intent that you want, it has to feel like you are trying to birth something. There has to be some sort of pain, and it's something that just makes it. If I don't know if you know about this, but when a woman is about to give birth, there's something called contractions, and the contractions get more and more and more and more and more while the birthing is getting close. That is how obsession is supposed to work for you. Each time your mind is on it, you can't get it off your mind. You want to get that thing done. You want to make sure that you're making sure that you're doing everything right to get it done. It is what you're thinking about. Your dream. You might not be dreaming about it. That's okay. Just in case you're not dreaming about it, you think you're doing something wrong. No, but that is what your mind is always on. They don't have to remind you to do your routines. It at a point you become one with it, and it just becomes a part of you. And I cited an example that when your routine is that strict enough, or is that at at a certain level, right? When you have routines that look like where you're going, that looks like the results you want to have. Sometimes it's not even you that will know that you're going to get results. It's other people that just know that way. With the way this guy is moving, he's definitely going to get that thing that he wants. It becomes super obvious what you're going after, right? But most people don't want to do all those things, or you don't want to look like you're going after something, because what if you fail? If you fail now, people know that you are going after it and they are going to mock you. Why do you care? But whatever it is. Doing a quick check on the internet again, since the third world decided to slow things down for us today. Pardon me, guys. It looks like it's still freezing, man. This is terrible. Please, I think I'm just going to go with this. Do not let me switch again. It will just set us back another 5 minutes. So, straight into the meat of what we're discussing today, right? Okay, just got a message. I think someone is trying to tell me something on my team. It's just blurry. I think let's just rock with the blurry, right? Let's just rock with the blurry. I think that's what we're going to have to do. So Samuel has been yapping for weeks about growth, 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 growth. Why even bother with growth? Why are you disturbing my life? Why is it important for me to grow? Last week, if you were on the session that we did with Anthony, AJ, he said something that I think a lot of people may have missed. Everything is not about money, but money is the easiest metric for people to track, so I'm just going to use it. He said something about how sometimes you have to be willing to break where you are in order to accommodate where you're going. I know that sounds so, quote, put on a shirt, make an Instagram poster about it type, but it is reality. He said something else. He said that we've all heard those stories of one uncle or one person that They were always good. Like, you always knew that they had money, they were all right, and they were comfortable. Then all of a sudden you hear that they went quote and unquote broke. This is not to mock anybody. We're all fighting the same fight. We're all, you know, trying to avoid almost the same things. And then all of a sudden you hear that, they're not as rich as before, they're not as broke as before. It's not as comfortable as before. They didn't entirely go broke, as you say. I know we all like to imagine that people made bad decisions with money, that's why they are. They might be doing exactly the same thing. The thing is, life caught up with them. I don't mean this to be insensitive, but reality is reality. And I'm only quoting someone, I'm quoting our last guest, right? Reality is reality. Sometimes, which leads me to the number one reason why you have to be obsessive about growth, right? Is nothing truly ever stagnates, right? And you can find it in different aspects of life. In biology, what's that concept in biology, right? I think it's called, is it atrophy? Let me just Google that real quick. I think it's called atrophy. Pardon me, guys. I don't want to go and say something now. You're not going to check it. You say, yeah, atrophy is the wasting away of or shrinking of a body part, cell, or organ, resulting from a decrease in cell size number, often due to a lack of use, right? You can also see this concept in physics. I think there's something called entropy where, let me check. You can check these things out. Yeah, when certain things, a scientific concept that measures the disorder, randomness, or uncertainty of a system. It quantifies the energy that is unavailable to do work, and its increase is a fundamental principle of the universe. As the energy transfers always results in a net. Okay, this one is a little confusing, right? But I think I remember entropy. This is not the, maybe I'm not remembering the right, what's it called? The right term, but at least atrophy. Atrophy is what working for us, or is it atrophy? If you do not make use of a muscle in the body, right, it starts to die. It starts to slowly starts to become smaller. It starts to use it starts to lose its function. And that is how almost everything in life is. Nothing truly stagnates, right? If you think that, okay, the way I am, I'm comfortable, I'm good, let me just stay here, you're just lying to yourself. You're not stagnant, you're not just maintaining. Nothing is ever, even your art, even, bro, everything about you is actually on the move. Think about it. How did, when you measure your heart speed, don't you see that it's on a wave? It's going up, it's going down. Everything is a wave, everything is ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs. You understand? Things always have to keep moving. Nothing truly stagnates. That is the number one reason why you have to take your personal growth seriously. It's not something you can just opt out of. You can delude yourself to think you're opting out of it. You don't want to bother about it. You see how things go. That can work for you for a while, but sooner or later, if you're lucky, when life catches up with you, now you have to be pressured into, beating it again. If you're lucky, you'll beat it. If you're not, it's already too late. You understand? That doesn't mean you should pressure yourself. It just means that you should be in a constant state of something that I learned years ago. It's called CANI, constant and never ending improvement. There's someone on the internet that I read, I don't remember where, it said that if you read, man, I think I'm just going to be doing a lot of Googling today because I'm just thinking about these things as I'm saying them. If you, I don't know who said it, if maybe someone can Google it for me. If you improve only 1%, something about how if you improve only 1% per day, that is just about enough, right? So when you hear about personal growth, personal growth, personal growth, you're probably thinking about what you've seen on the internet, how somebody is saying they started their, I don't know, their $1 billion company with 2 bags of rice or with 10 naira or whatever, and you're thinking, oh, you people are just here to pressure me. No, they're not trying to pressure you. Maybe some people are lying, maybe whatever. But the truth of the matter is, if something is not growing, it is stagnant. It is not stagnated. It is dying. It is either it is growing or it is decaying. You just have to choose the side of the spectrum you want to be in. If you're not seeing the decay now, if you're not seeing the start, if you're not seeing the quote and unquote death now, it is just a matter of time before it catches up with you. I'm not saying that to scare you. It's just the reality of life, and you see it even in the body. Okay, so I think I have a message. Hopefully, somebody, James Clear, Atomic Habits. It was mentioned there. I haven't even read that. Maybe I saw a quote. Thank you, Matayo. Right, just 1% every day. A little bit of increase is important. Next thing is, and this is something personal to me, and I'm only sharing with you guys. Hoping somebody can catch it, right? I know how it is. I know how people think about God and spirituality and everything. Everybody is talking about. I don't know. There's popular lyrics about everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Everybody's always talking about life after death. Death. You know, uh, you want to go to heaven. You want to this. You want to that. For a very long time, you know, that has been something on my mind, definitely, right? But that's not my main driving force. What I imagine is this: I imagine that after my 80 or 90 something years on this planet, I face my maker, right? And then it's like, hey, my boy, welcome. You try, but look at all the things I gave you. Look at all the gifts I gave you. Look at all the things that are possible for you. Why did you only use 10%? Why did you only use 20%? I don't know why. And anytime I speak about this, I don't, for most people, they just think of it like, you just detention yourself or whatever. But think about it. If someone, the creator of the universe, put certain things inside of you, may put certain possibilities inside of you, certain gifts inside of you, would it not be a total waste to spend decades on this earth never finding out about them? Or imagine the way I even imagine it is like, I get there, like, hey, welcome. So this, I think they say, I know this might be all childish and whatever. They say they play all your life experiences for you. I imagine that in one TV they are playing your life experience, and then on the other TV they're like, "Oh yeah, come and watch what you could have been. Oh, it will pay me. Oh. If I see that my life could have been 10 times better or 100 times better, maybe it was 100, could have been 100 times better, and maybe I got to like 80% of it. I'll be like, okay, at least I enjoyed some of it, or at least I brought enough impact out of my life, right? But imagine just imagine disappointing God. That is, like I said, this is personal, and I'm hoping maybe one person catches it. Just imagine disappointing. I mean, you don't want to disappoint your lecturer in school. You don't want to disappoint your parent. Imagine disappointing the creator of the universe. That is one of the things that tensions me into growth, right? That is one of the things that fuels my obsession, right? I'm not saying that I'm going to be perfect, but I'm just going to keep trying. I'm going to keep trying, and I'm going to keep pressing, and I'm going to keep pressing, and I'm going to keep pressing till I keep finding out more and more and more and more and more about me. And do you know why that is important? The reason why it's important for me to think about it this way is if I keep thinking about it this way, it means I do not have any limits, particularly because each time I step into a new level, I'm like, oh, awesome. Thank you, God. I'm here. But I wonder what is next. I wonder what else is possible. Right? Because I can sit here now and just tell you, hey, you want to do this, you want to get this kind of life, you want to be making this kind of money. Everything that you hope to do is possible for you. You might get there. What if instead of getting there 10 years' time, you get there in 2 years' time? Is your life over? Will you stop there? Will you park there? Or will you press into more? The third reason why I think you should take your growth seriously and take it as a duty is because I believe that your life shouldn't just be about you. You might be okay with how you are right now. You might be okay with how you are right now. Maybe you're comfortable, you're eating, you're sleeping, there's no tension. You got a great job. But there are people that are, even if you don't know it, even if you're not conscious of it, so people are looking, are looking up to you, even if it's just by a little bit, even if it's just about a small part of your life. So people might just like the way you dress. I don't know. Or they might just like something about you and they just look up to you in that regard. I take that as an opportunity to show possibilities to them, right? I'm not saying you should now go and tension yourself and kill yourself. I'm not saying you should try and impress people, right? I see it as an opportunity to give my all, to be more. At the end of the day, being more, where I stop might not be where they stop. They might end up doing better. Isn't that a simple way for you to contribute to a better community or a better society at all? Think about it, right? So, quick recap. Number one reason why you should take your growth seriously. Nothing ever truly stagnates. Nothing ever truly stagnates. If you do not make use of it, if you keep it, if you think you're just leaving it, that whenever you like, I'm okay, I don't need to improve. One day, when something happens, I'll improve. If something is not growing, it is decaying or it is degrading. Nothing is ever stagnant in nature. Nothing is ever truly stagnant. Something is either working on it to grow or something is working on it to decay. Number two reason is you do not want to disappoint the creator of the universe. That's like the most important person in the whole world. And he put some gifts inside of you. Make use of them. Number three, somebody somewhere, even if it is just your own kids, even if it is just your siblings, your younger ones, even if it is just one person from way back that you were neighbors back when you were in the secondary school, and they still think of you as that awesome person that used to do backflip from the second floor or whatever how cool thing you used to do back then. Somebody is looking up to you. You have an opportunity to help them to press forward. All right. Now, into the meat of what we're doing. Okay, we're not yet there. We're not yet there. Something I wanted to point out is why planning your growth always feels hard. Number one thing is, I don't know what to do. That is a lie. You tell yourself you don't know what to do, but you're doing something every day. The real issue is you don't know what to do next, or you don't want to know what to do differently, because what you're doing right now is getting you certain results. You want better results, you know what to do, but you don't know what to do next, and that is okay because you've never done that thing before. So don't over romanticize it. Don't make it into a big deal. Don't start sobbing and crying about it. Oh, I don't know what to do. You know what to do. You do stuff every day. You just don't know what to do next, and that is fine, right? You don't know what to do next, and you don't know what to do, and keep doing and keep doing. It is okay to be confused. It is not okay to stay confused. Motion fuels emotions. The more you do, the more you know you can do. Let's move ahead. The next thing that people think is, I know what to do, but I just don't know how. That is okay as well. It is okay that you don't know what you do. It's that. It's okay to know what you want to do and not know how to do it sometimes. And part of I'm just calling out these things for you to sort of deaden your excuses or address what is going on into your mind. What I'm going to invite you to do right now is I would suggest that you get a notepad. I think I put that in the broadcast that I posted on my WhatsApp stories. I suggest you get a notepad or you just type it on your phone. What this session is going to be is me asking you a bunch of questions. At the end of this session, I want you to have some sort of clarity, especially now we're in December. You are gearing up to start writing down your personal goals, your new year, new me, your whatever. How is it going to be different this year? Are you just going to think, just sit down, play some music, and just close your eyes and say, you know what? It's like, this is what I'm going to do. You don't gamble your growth. You don't gamble your goals. Something has to bring you clarity for you to know what you're going towards, right? So I talked about number one problem people like to sit on is, I don't know what to do. And I said, you know, you do know what to do. You just don't know what to do next. And that is fine. I don't know what to do. No, I know what to do, but I just don't know how to do it. That is fine also. You don't always have to know how to do it. Now, straight to the four forces that unlock your growth. Before I get into it, let me do a quick check on YouTube. Still super blurry. Pardon me, guys. It is what it is. Is it frozen? Okay, it's moving a little bit. Emabino, sorry. I've tried two internet service providers. Both of them are messing up. But we move. We move, my guys. We move. All right. The four forces that would unlock your growth. Number one, direction. Number two, beliefs. Number three, barriers. And number four, execution. I'm going to go deeper into each of these ones. Each of them. When I say unlock your growth, I've talked about what makes growth possible, intention and whatnot. I'm talking about, while you're sitting down planning, imagining you want to do this, you want to do that, you're thinking about everything. Sometimes you feel stuck out of no fault of your own. What is happening there is you have a lack of clarity because you have not dissected that thing that you want to do into should I say, the smallest chewable, consumable part of it. and everything just seems blurry, like this live stream right now. So the first things first you need to figure out when you want to unlock your growth in a certain area is what is your direction? Direction is deciding what truly matters and where you're taking your life and your purpose in motion, right? There's a concept or two concepts in physics: speed and velocity. Speed is just movement, velocity is movement as it tends towards a direction, right? If you're on the wrong direction, having extra speed is not a good advice for you. If you are just picking any intention that anybody's putting and you're just working out at it, you're going the wrong way. Team check. Okay, not a team check. I have to keep up with that now because of this terrible internet. In case I'm just talking to myself, right? So what are the questions you need to ask yourself, right, in order to make sure that you're headed in the right direction? Number one, where am I going? If you do not have a target, you can't fail, but you also can't succeed, right? I think that was, yeah, that was Apostle Femi Lazarus that said that. If you do not know where you're going, everywhere seems like it. At the little, I know this seems like a super simple question, but you can just write it down. Where am I going? What is the end point of all of this thing? Right? If it's about in my career, I want to make more money. You want to make more money is not a destination. It is a direction, right? At least you know the way you want to go. But you need clarity. You need to be clear. I want to make 2 times more than I'm making right now. I want to I want to make 3 times more than I'm making right now. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to, you know, grow my social media following to 10,000 followers. Where are you going? What is the destination? Write it down clearly, right? But it doesn't stop there because this is where most people always stop. They just write down a bunch of goals. Yeah, this is what I want to do. The next thing you want to write down is why does it matter to you? Why does it matter? Why does it matter that you get you make 2 times more money or 3 times more money, or you grow your followers, or you do whatever it is that you want to do? Why does it matter? What is the why behind it? What is the motif? If you're not clear on that, you don't really have the fuel you need to go to where you're going to. Why does it matter to you? What changes? What how what changes in your life? What changes in your life if you actually get to that thing, get to that destination you're going? Why does it matter? What is the transformation you're trying to see in your life? Is it that you stop worrying about rent? Is it that you have a voice to speak up for people? Why is it important that you get to that destination? If you don't understand why, right, it might be an indication that that intention you have might just be a seed that was planted by someone else in your mind, and it's not really something that you want. Number three question: who is already there or ahead of me? Who is already tending towards that direction that I'm going? Who is already there? Now, I'm going to give you a little bit. If you remember, let's take it back. I don't know, is it 10 or 20 years? If you've watched the movie, the cartoon Lion King, I didn't get to watch the live action one. There's a part where his father takes Simba, right? It takes him to the top of, like, what's it called? On top of like a rock, and he's telling him, "Hey, look everywhere, all the way down there, as far as the sun touches. That is your kingdom." What do you think he is doing there? He's giving him a vision. He's giving him a picture. That picture speaks to who he is. That picture is calling out an expectation out of him, right? There's a verse of scripture where God calls out Abraham and he says, "Look to the skies." He's showing him, "Look to the skies, look at all the stars." He's showing him a picture. And then he's talking to Israel. He's telling Israel, "Look to your father, Abraham." God is showing them. I'm showing you examples in movies and in scripture, so you can see that this is a general, should I say, a general principle of life. You need a picture. You need somebody that is there. You need somebody that will set an example for you of what it means to be there, either in results or in process. If you do not have that person, everything is still sort of blurry to you, like this live stream, right? Shout out to my internet service providers. Who is already there or ahead of me? If you can't answer these questions and I'm going through it, I suggest you just write down, you know, you just write down the questions and you can answer it later. If you can go through all these questions I'm giving to you, whatever it is that you're going to do, I don't know when you're going to write down your goals for 2026. Whatever it is you're going to do at that time is going to become a lot clearer because you'll be able to read out what you want and what you don't really want. Half the time, the reason why people don't take action on those things that they write down as their plan for the new year is because those things are not even what they really want. It's just what they've heard from other people that is nice. It's a nice to have to them. It's not a must have. If something is a must have for you, you're going to take action. So you want to make sure that the things that are on your list of goals, your direction for the year, are must haves, not nice to haves, at least for you. The next question: who do I need to become? Every level. They said that for every level there's a new level. For every level, every part of you, every level is going to demand a new version of you. Every level is going to demand some sort of transformation, right? Either in the way you act, in the way you think, in the way you show up, in the way you operate, in the knowledge you have, right? Something has to change. You need to find out what that is. And it becomes very easy to know who you need to become when you already have a picture, when you know people that are ahead of you, who is already there. The last question, when you know who is already there, or you have a picture or somebody similar or something similar, like somebody that is already there or something, you get to know, you know, who you need to become. Next question is, where must I position myself? Let's go back to the four factors that make growth possible. We talked about environment, internal and external environment. What is the environment that you need to be in order to make it possible? If you do not have the environment, if you do not consider the environment that you need to be to make that thing, that goal, that direction, that whatever it is you want to do, that intent you have to make it possible, it is going to die in the ground. You don't have to have everything figured out, but at least you have to have an idea what perfect looks like. In the perfect world, these are the kind of people I should be talking to. In the perfect world, these are the kind of people I should be interacting with. In the perfect world, this is the kind of place I need to be for this thing to happen. You're not living in the perfect world, but at least you can get as much as you can because you made it clear. If you want to get something done, you have a goal, you have a dream, you have a whatever, whatever it is you want to do, whatever it is you call it, and you just have it, you are, should I say, lackadaisical about it. It just sits there. You're not thinking about these critical things. Nothing is ever going to happen. And then finally, what is the vehicle that will take me there? If you're going towards somewhere, something has to take you there. Either it is on your feet, or in a car, or a plane, or whatever. What does that mean? Is it a career? Is it a business? Is it a system? Is it a platform? What is it that gets people there? That also speaks. You see how all these things kind of intertwined. That also speaks to your routine. What are the things I need to be doing every day to get me there? What are the, platforms I need to join to get me there? What are the people I need to be speaking to get me there? What are the courses I need to take to get me there? What are the this? What are the that? You need to be clear on those things. You don't have to be 100% clear. See, the reason why I'm setting all of these things up as questions is because I'll send that after. Is because if you do not ask the right questions, you can never have the right answers. If you do not ask the right questions, you can never ask the right answers. The wrong question can never have the right answer. Following the right line of questions, like for instance, if immediately after you set the goal or set a goal, where you're just thinking is, okay, how am I going to do it? How am I going to do it? You're just going to stop. There are several steps before you get to how. Steps like why does it matter? Steps like who is already there? Steps like who do I need to become? When you have all of these set out, how starts to be a consequence, right? So the last question I said is, what vehicle will take me there? And before that, I talked about where must I position myself? What is the environment? Essentially, this force that we've been talking about, the force, number one force that will unlock your growth, which is direction. Direction gives meaning to your speed. You can be working and working and working and working and working and working. I'm seeing someone drop the comments, just making sure. Yeah, right question, right answer. Thank you, Timothy. You can be working and 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 setting the same goal year after year, getting frustrated that you've not done anything. Maybe you're just working out in the wrong direction. Maybe you're just working out without clarity on certain critical things that would make the growth possible. Maybe you don't have a picture. Maybe you don't know who you need to become. Maybe the habits you have, the environment you are, or the routines you have is nothing like that thing that you want to be. You need to get clarity today. Write down those questions. The next thing, and this is very important, the next force that would unlock your growth is beliefs. You see, the direction points the way. It is belief that gives you the permission to walk the way. And this is very critical, right? Your beliefs are like your internal laws. They're automatic, right? Most of your decisions are gauged, or should I say, they don't come from your beliefs. Your decisions come from your values. But how much, should I say, fuel you give to those decisions is determined by your beliefs, right? Your beliefs determines what you attempt. It determines what you avoid. It determines what you tolerate. It determines what you stay consistent with. So the first question you need to ask yourself here is be honest. Be very honest with yourself here. What do I believe about the possibility of me actually getting there? Because you can set a goal and deep down in your mind, you don't believe it's possible. I'm not saying you can't have doubts. There's a difference between having doubts, like, is this possible? Whatever. And you just knowing that this thing is not for our type. Nah. There are times like that. You just write it down. Either this is where they say, I don't know when I remember there was this meme where the dog was barking at the tiger. I'm like, I don't know what it motivational speaker. I don't tell this one like that. Right? I don't know what that dog is believing there, but whatever. Right? Sometimes you write certain things down. It gives you joy. You like to talk to your friends about it. Like, yeah, I'm trying to build this. I'm trying to democratize the kiniko of Web3, talk a bunch of jargon. But deep down in your mind, man, you know that thing's not possible. Or you don't believe it's possible for you. So write it down. What do I believe about the possibility of me actually getting to this thing that I said I want to get to? You see, for you to take action on anything, you need confidence. And let me tell you something about something called a cycle of confidence. Think about it this way. Your action comes from one thing, your belief about this thing. Is it possible? How much of it do you think is possible? If you have a little belief that this thing is possible, you will end up taking a little action. If you take a little action, guess what? You're going to get a little result. If you get a little result, that now gets you a little bit of confidence. If you want to level up, you're not like, wow, okay, I can get some results. Maybe if I'm a little more confident, that can work. Now you start to believe that, okay, I can do more. You do a little more, which is the action. You take a little action, a little more belief, a little more action, a little more results, a little more confidence. And then you expand it a little bit. It is okay if you start with a small belief. It is okay if you start with a small target. It's not every time take over the world. That is why I said somewhere at the beginning of the stream that the point of goal setting is not motivation alone. It is self-mastery. Sometimes you set a goal, you don't get there. It's fine, right? You may have improved a lot, but you don't get that is totally fine. At least now you know what you're capable of, right? It strengthens your confidence, it strengthens your belief, and it also makes it easier for you to act even bigger and better next time. So, what do you believe about the possibility of actually getting there? Be honest with yourself. If you don't think it is possible, write it down that to be honest, I really don't think this thing is possible. Why don't you think it's possible? Write it down, and that is okay. The next question when it comes to beliefs is what do I believe about the process of getting there? If in your mind you've had that thought that the process of getting to that thing that you've heard of or that you've, researched is not possible, you're never going to take action. You might be fascinated about it. I think I've said it a couple of times on this stream. I've said on one of these streams that I'm trying to remember exactly how I said it. When you get restless enough to make your dream life a necessity, that is when you begin to, that is when you start to take action that makes you, I've forgotten exactly how I said that. I'll remember later. But essentially what that means is there's a difference between a dream that you're just fascinated by it and then the life that you actually want to live. When you know that thing, when it's something that you actually desire to live, you can't wait for that to be your life. It becomes a necessity, not just a fascination, right? If You thinking about that life, somewhere at the back of your mind, you think that this process is true, it's not something I really want to do, right? You are not going to take action on it. There's a reason why I'm asking you to do all of these things. It's for you to be real with yourself. If, for instance, you think that you found out that the process has to do with this thing and this thing and this thing, and then you feel like it's overwhelming, that is okay. Maybe you just take a little bit out of it and you do that. Maybe you follow the 1% rule, just a little bit and a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. But if you're not honest with yourself, that you actually think that the process of getting this thing done is way too much for you, you just keep procrastinating on it. I don't worry, I'll get it done. Don't worry, I'll get it done. When deep down in your mind, you know that you don't think you can get this thing. The third question is, what do I believe about myself in relation to that destination? Have you counted yourself out? Do you truly believe that you could deserve it, even if not now, maybe later? How do you perceive yourself in relation to that thing? In truth, do you really feel like someone like you should get something like that, or deep down you're wondering, nah? You know it's possible for you to give yourself to have a bias against yourself, either because you think that getting that kind of thing will make you unserious. I don't want to make that kind of money, man. I'll probably start to misbehave. I don't want to do it. It's possible. It sounds stupid, but it's possible. You can be self sabotaging yourself like that. At least the least you want to do is you want to be honest with yourself. What do you believe about yourself in relation to that destination, in relation to that thing that you want to do? Write it down. Now let's flip it. The second side of the belief. Let's call the first three questions. What do I believe about the possibility of me actually getting there? What do I believe about the process of getting there? And what do I believe about myself in relation to that destination? Let's call that a belief diagnostics questions. You're just trying to diagnose. Oh yeah, come, Samuel. Okay, that's Samuel, whatever your name is. Come, let me say Josiah. Do I actually believe this thing that I'm saying? Do I actually believe this thing is possible for me? Do I actually believe I can go through the process of this? If no, now let's go to the next set of questions. What do I need to believe about myself for me to get this thing done? If, for instance, you're somebody that you don't do videos because you believe you're camera shy, maybe you are, maybe you aren't. Sometimes you have to play tricks on yourself, my bro. Sometimes you have to trick yourself into taking action. You have to play mind games on yourself. What do you need to believe about yourself for you to get this thing done? Do you need to start believing, oh, I'm awesome at cameras and stuff? I know that all that sounds, you probably heard this thing before. Go and sit down in front of a camera and start saying affirmations. Maybe you do that in front of his mirror. Maybe you do that. Maybe you don't do that. Maybe that helps. Those things help. But you have to find at least a little thread, just one sentence of belief, just one sentence to hold on to. Sometimes that sentence to hold on to will come from the picture that you have. Don't forget the direction, who is already there. If by looking at all those people that are already there, you're already saying all these people are, right from looking at all of them, they are better than me. I can't. You have already killed your belief. If, however, you're looking at them and you're the only thread of belief that you can muster is, if this person can do it, I can at least try to do it. That might be enough. Which leads me to the next question. What do I need to believe about the possibility of doing this thing? Like I said, sometimes you just have to delude yourself. I know I don't look like it anymore because I haven't been very consistent. But back then when I used to work out a lot, right? It's something we used to do. If you want to push something super heavy, you start saying something like lightweight, like it's lightweight. Two is just the number, just two more. You have to pump yourself up. I'm not saying, of course, we'll do that with somebody to support us in case you get tired or whatever. But there's something that it does to you when you actually shrink the monster in your mind, right? What do you need to believe about the possibility of this thing? Sometimes you have to delude yourself in the sense that you know that this thing it takes like 10 steps. Just tell yourself all I have to do is finish step one. Don't think about step two, step three, step three, four, step five, step six, step all the way down to 10. All I have to do is finish step one. Sometimes you need to be delulu like that. You yourself, you know that there's still more at the end of it, but you just have to focus on that one. What do I need to believe about the possibility? You can just tell yourself something as simple as, if I can just finish this one, I'll find a way to do the rest. You just need a sentence. You just need something to hold on to in your mind. Something to kill the belief that was there before that you must have written down by now, right? Something to tackle it, something to take hold of it and press it down. If I can get this one thing done, I can finish it. It's something I'm going to teach one of these days on this stream. I call it the messy method. The messy method basically means that life is never going to pause for you to get your life together. Life is never going to pause for you to get your life together. You're going to have family problems likely popping up. You're not going to have time. Maybe they'll break up with you. Maybe your parents starts to get mad at you. Maybe this, maybe that. There's always going to be something messy about your life when you're trying to get something done. Nobody escapes it. But the messy method says that if you can just consistently do one small thing over and over and over and over and over and over, stick to the routine through the mess, it is possible. Even if you don't get that thing done, it is possible for you to make progress enough for you to have momentum to actually start moving when things clear out a little bit. But if when things are messy, you're saying, ah, okay, when things balance out, I'll do it. Let me just get done with this thing first, then I'll come to do it. You're never going to get anything done. I'll get extensive about, I'll talk about that extensively on one of the streams that I'm going to do. But for now, what do you need to believe about the possibility of getting that thing done? Right? And then the final question on the belief is, what do I need to believe about the process of getting there? It's like what I said about, lifting weights. I know it's a culture in the gym. Lightweight, we know it's not light. That thing can kill you. And you have somebody at your back. You probably have three people at your back, right? What do you need to believe about this thing, about the process of getting there, right? And this has worked for me several times in the past, and I believe it will continue to work for me, right? I have found that, and this is what birthed that thing I'm always saying every Sunday, which is just write three things down. I used to have a lot of anxiety about the week, right? Because sometimes in my line of work, we're doing, I do marketing. Sometimes you have a big campaign coming up, things get tensed. And in my mind, on Sunday, I'm already pretense. This week is going to be stressful. This is going to that. This is going to this, whatever. I found out when I just write down, okay, I just need to get 1, 2, 3 done. It's just easy to get these three things done. It's just simple to get these three things done. All of a sudden, my belief about the process of getting that thing done switches from super stressful to super simple, right? Play mind games on yourself, it works. If nobody will motivate you, motivate yourself. If nobody will ginger you, ginger yourself. And all of these things not even about you. It's not about ginger per se. It's all about just having a conversation between who you are right now that just wants to tap out and who you want to be that has beaten this thing. There's something that I missed that I didn't say when it comes to this belief thing. What do I need to become to believe? What do I need to believe? No, no, no. What do I need to believe about myself for me to get this thing done? There's something I wanted to touch on there. You've probably heard the sense, the concept of fake it till you make it. I don't think you need to fake it till you make it. I think what you need to do instead is believe it and act on it until you become it. And becoming it doesn't mean that you're there yet, right? Becoming it just means that you're starting to think like it. Becoming it just means that you're starting to act like it. Becoming it means that you are starting to transform into the person that can actually do that thing. You have to believe it, act on it until you start to become it. Maybe the truth of the matter is sometimes your beliefs are real. Maybe when you think about the possibility of actually getting this thing done, you're being real with yourself. You don't have the resources, you don't have that, you don't have the language skills, you don't have this, you don't have that. That is okay. But the moment you start to believe in your mind that, I know what, I think this thing is possible. You know what? It is possible if I start to do XYZ and then you start to act on it. You know what? If I continue to do this thing consistently, one day I know I'm going to be somebody that can do this thing. The moment you make that commitment and you actually start to follow through it, you actually have already started to become that person that can get it done. The problem with, our generation, and when I say our generation, is most of us that were raised on the internet, is we no longer think about being effective. We no longer think about being useful. We just want to be exceptional, and we just want a story to be told about how awesome we did, and how viral something went, how something just went boom and exploded. Oh wow, the devil is a liar. I'm using a different internet. I had to use a backup internet, and now they're telling me that I think that one is going to run out. I'm wrapping up anyway, even though my internet guys didn't let me enjoy this, but let me just make sure that we don't get cut off before I cut things off. Give me a second, guys. Pardon me. I'm just getting a backup. All right, I think I have a backup already. A backup for my backup. So what was I saying? Believe it, act on it, and continue to act on it until you become it. I think, is that what I was saying? I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. Right. The other two forces that unlock your growth. Because to be honest, guys, I don't know how you guys are, soldiering through this, but looking at what I'm looking at on YouTube, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. Doing 1 hour on this is probably just good enough, right? And then next week I'm going to touch on, or probably if you're a part of my newsletter, I send a newsletter, I think about 2 times or once a week. I just might preview what I'm going to do next week. Next week we're going to be talking about barriers and execution. Under barriers, we're going to be talking, this is where we're going to talk about, removing the actual barriers, the things that you think are in your way, the obstacles that you think are in your way from getting you to take action and whatnot. And then we're going to talk about execution, which is turning your clarity into momentum, becoming somebody who acts as they feel ready, creating a system that helps you to compound the actions that you take day in and day out. I really doubt anybody's going to have any questions because I'm imagining that not everybody is hearing me as clearly as they should or seeing me as clearly as they should. Wait, stream is actually getting there, at least on YouTube. Is that a miracle happening? Anyway, thanks a lot, guys, for joining the stream. The internet's not super stable, and I don't want to keep you guys any longer. Next week, same time, we're going to be picking up on this, and I'm going to be expounding on those things that I've discussed. Don't forget, take some time, write down those things, those goals, those uh not goals, targets, things that you want to get done this week, and make sure you try as much as possible to get it done. I'll ask. I always ask. See you next week.